Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Monday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Today, I was telling Kalila there was something that's been on my heart for a few days because of an event that happened, and I wanted to share that with you guys. It was something I've been pondering over on how to share on social media publicly, and I decided not to do that because it might be too much for some people. So I wanted to share in a Zoom about things that have gone on and just things that people have probably been through and experienced before, and that really a reflection of this year. So if you've been watching my posts this year from 2020, you'll see I have really prided myself on how good this year has been for me and my family. And that's not saying that it isn't good, that it's good for other people. I try to be careful how I word things, but I've been talking a ton about gratitude and looking on the bright side, and there's so much to pull out of 2020 with the pandemic, or, if you're in the States, election, or if you're in other parts of the world, there's stuff in every part of the world. This system is crazy. So I really pride myself in trying to pull the positivity out. And I always think of that as a good thing, because that's kind of what I want to see. If I am seeing others posts and they're just always oh my goodness, virtual teaching, or oh my goodness, the pandemic, or blah blah blah, or different things, I'm kind of it's a turnoff for me. And not that they're complaining, it's just I couldn't really relate because things have been going so good for us, and they have been. We are so blessed. But I kind of was humbled with news that we received that, guys, things are not okay. Things are really, this is not how things are supposed to be. So pretty much we got a phone call, or I got a phone call on Friday morning that an old friend of ours, we haven't spent time with him. It's nobody we've been close with recently, but an old friend of ours passed away. And it was somebody that my husband hung out with all the time. We worked with him. He worked with him at Outback. I worked for his wife at two places, Bel Air Athletic Club and Starbucks. And we would go out to dinner back in the day. They've come over our house for game nights and stuff. So we've spent time with these people. And so when I got that text, I was or got that phone call, I felt really, he was closer to him at the time. And I didn't know why, but I went downstairs and I told Chris, and he handled it very well, but we didn't know the cause. We had a friend earlier this year that died back in May of a heart attack, that Chris was close with. And it took him a little bit to kind of process that. But, so our friend Jay, we just weren't sure. And I was just in my head, I'm hoping it wasn't COVID. And, I didn't know what I was thinking until I opened the news that day. And there were probably 5 or 6 news articles on what happened. And he killed his 3-year-old son and then killed himself. And nobody knows why. There's really no way to process that for anybody. You hear that and you're what went on, and I think even the people closest to him, because I've talked to a lot of people, there's no knowing anything, reasons. And it just kind of hit me through trying to make sense of anything, that people are not okay. And I think a huge part of that, a huge part of depression or not feeling like there's a way out or whatever horrific thing was going on in his head, like people don't feel that it's okay to not be okay. And not that I think anybody else like would do anything as like terrible as that. But it's more just validating that, you know, even if you have those horrible days and you're crying all day or you're depressed or this year has just kicked your bottom, that so many other people are feeling that way. And you can actually, by being that, by just being yourself, if you don't feel like you're okay, by just being yourself, you're going to be an inspiration to other people. And that's what kind of humbled me. And I wanted to share that with you. And I really didn't know how to share that with you guys, other than just kind of laying it all out. But like I said, I was humbled by it because I was in the clouds this year. Like everybody's dealing with all this stuff. Everybody's complaining about having to homeschool all of a sudden or thing. And I'm just like, why aren't people looking at the positive? And the fact is, like, not everybody can do that. Like, and that's not everybody's fault. Like we lean into self-development. That's a huge reason why, guys. It's not just for this business. I mean, you'll hear us always say that. Like, I love self-development, and the days that I don't feel like doing it are the days that like we need to do it. But it's so much more than just like keeping our head in the game for the business. It is like, it's been a lifesaver for me. I really look at life a lot differently because of that. Because of like working on myself and doing things that is going to keep my mind focused on gratitude. Hold on, let me mute real quick. Okay. Okay, sorry. So what I kind of have decided to do and what I've realized through my posts, like every time I post something about, hey, we're doing really good during the pandemic, I'm focusing on this and that, you know, and like, oh, it's been a blessing for our family because we have time together. And, you know, I've been pregnant and I didn't want to be in public. And, you know, I've had this baby and I'm able to stay home with him without, you know, stressing about being out or having visitors. I always got like really positive comments back, like go you or good for you or something like that. But I didn't have many people that were relating to me. They weren't like, oh my goodness, me too. Why won't everybody else just shut up? Like nobody was saying anything like that. People were being kind, but I was not making connections with people. And I think I missed out on like a whole 7-8 months of being able to connect with people because I only wanted to focus on the good stuff. So we're not okay, guys. Like, and I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but like you look around the world, things are not okay. And we need to lean on each other. And we also need to share that things are not okay because you never know who's listening. You never know who's going to see your post and relate to you. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but like, you could save a life. Like you could save a life by the way you're trying to relate to people. And it's hard to do our jobs when we're not feeling okay. Like it's hard to send out messages when we're not doing okay. It's hard to be consistent, but I promise you, like if you're consistent with just the human being you are right now, and are public with that, to a certain extent of privacy, however private you want to be or not, then you're going to reach hearts. You're going to reach people's souls with this. You really are. You're going to make people feel like they're not alone. And that's way bigger than having the perfect post or, you know, the perfect kind of outlook on something. So that was something that hit me. And I'm like, I'm gonna really spin like how I'm talking about things so I become more relatable. And it also was proof that like self-development is life. And when it comes to our business, you know, it doesn't have to be something, when I say self-development, like we love our trainings with our top leaders, right? Like we love getting advice on how to message, how to send the perfect message, or how to balance our time perfectly. Like all that kind of stuff is so super helpful. But when I say self-development, I'm talking about something that gets to your heart, that means something to you. It was really special to me when Ashley Mayfield in our training last Monday said, you know, like that not every self-development book is for every person. So you might have a top leader that's like, oh my goodness, everybody's got to read this book. It's amazing about being like the best leader ever. That might not speak to you. You might be like, okay, cool, but I just want to learn how to, you know, not be depressed all the time, or be a little, you know, happier with my speech or something like that, you know. So find something that just, when you read the title or when you read the description or when you kind of like get into it a little bit, you're like, wow, this author is speaking right to me. Because isn't that how it is with like Bible reading too, guys? Like we feel like so refreshed after we read, because it's just something that hits home to us and gets our brains in the right space and makes us feel better about ourselves, because that's what it boils down to. How not the words on the page, or not how brilliant this author is, or not the topic or anything, but if we read those words and we feel like that person is directly reaching into our heart and changing it, that's self-development right there. So no matter what your day brings, if you are virtual teaching your kids and feel like you need wine at 10 a.m., or if you are just so lonely from being stuck inside in the entire 2020, if you're working full time and have kids at home, if you haven't seen your husband for like a week because you guys worked so much, like all of these things are gonna weigh you down. Make sure no matter what you do for like 10 minutes a day, you're just either listening or reading some sort of self-development. And I promise you, it will help you be more relatable to your audience. It'll help you be more of yourself and open up and share things with people that could save their life, that could make the difference for them. Because this year, so much hate is going around this year, and so much love has been, you know, put by the wayside, and we kind of know in this world that that's to be expected. But in the communities that we have with this business, and the communities that we have created because of this business, like our audience on Instagram and Facebook, we can find those people to be the light for us, and we can be the light for other people just by being ourselves. It's within each and every one of you. So I don't ever want anybody to think they have to be somebody they're not, or they have to have the perfect post or the perfect algorithm. And when you mess up, you talk about when you mess up, or if you're not where you want to be, you talk about that too. Because I bet you there's people out there that feel the exact same way, and you're going to connect way better by sharing your imperfections or your anxiety or your depression, or, you know, just different things than trying to be that perky positive person that we all would love to like just magically be. But we're not going to be, you know, that every time. And when you're happy and things are amazing, you could talk about that too and just be like, this day was great. But I think I just lived in the clouds all year, and I think that was a mistake. And I wanted to share that with you guys in a way. And hopefully that resonated with at least one of you. I don't know, because I don't know everybody's circumstances, but when it comes down to it, anytime I've heard leaders talk, I think that person's never dealt with that, or they're so much like better than having to deal with that. And they talk about a situation that I have felt, and I'm like, what? Like, that's shocking that they've they've felt like that or dealt with that. So that was kind of like what was on my heart and my 2 cents today, as far as self-development and knowing that it's okay to not be okay. So if there's any topics, we can open it up to free for all, because I talk fast. So that was like not the full time. But if there's anything, it doesn't have to be about this subject, but if there's anything in your business that you want questions answered, or we can talk it through, just either put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. All right, so everybody's doing amazing. We're all signing like 10 LCs a day. No, I'm just kidding. That would be insane.
I wanted to say something real quick. You said that you were having a really good year, and you know 2020 hasn't been horrible to you, and I can relate to that. I mean, I'm an introvert, and so when the pandemic came along, I was like, this is great. I don't have to go to the Kingdom Hall. I don't have to go out and service.
Yeah.
And, and my husband could keep on working, and I got like, we weren't suffering, but I knew that a lot of people were. And so it's something you have to make sure you're paying attention to other people, and you're being considerate of what they're going through. And they may not be going through 2020 the same way you are. And it's not that like it was all rainbows and butterflies for us. Like I have had a couple meltdowns separate from like where we were blessed this year. And so we may not be directly suffering from the 2020 situation, but there are still people who I can relate to, who have anxiety disorders or painful situations going on. So even if you can't directly relate to side effects of COVID-19, maybe you can directly relate to something else that is just people always have going on in their life. It's just amplified for so many people right now. So I appreciated that you said that it, like, you were honest about how good the year has been to you, but like how you needed to kind of balance that with being empathetic with where other people are at, and maybe letting people know that not everything is sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's perfect. And I like how you said that it amplifies something that's already there. So somebody may have already been struggling with anxiety or something in their life, or a bad home life. And then, man, for 3 or 4 months, they're stuck at home with their home life. So many things that I didn't put myself in other people's shoes enough. I kind of saw situations, and in my head, I'm like, why aren't they doing better at getting themselves out of that? Or if somebody would come to me with like a problem that in my head, I'm like, they can easily like get over that or work on it. And then like, no, that was wrong, Jordan. Like that was wrong. Like I need to work on my empathy, because it doesn't matter if things are going amazing in my life. Like I'm also 2 years into this business, 5 years into my self-development kind of routine that I've done, because I did that prior as well. So somebody might be at the beginning of their self-development journey. They might not even know how to do self-development or what it is or anything like that. So yeah, I didn't want to share the event that I shared with you guys for any kind of shock value or anything. And that's why I haven't put it on a post, because I can't think of a way to word anything that's not going to really, really, really upset people. But it's not that I think that's like a normal thing that's going to happen, but I'm telling you, this guy was like an awesome husband, an awesome dad. He taught drums. He played at our wedding. Like he was super smart and creative and intelligent, and just somebody people say that all the time, that they would never think somebody would do something like that. And with this person, it is really true. And I just, I feel for his wife. I don't know how you get past something like that. But anyway, so I'm going to be more cognizant of people's emotions and feelings and focus on even applying it to my team, guys. So if you have a team underneath of you, I'm going to focus more on inspiration more so than instruction, and not saying you have to like not instruct your team. We have to show people what to do. But I'm not going to make it all like facts and tasks and to-dos and things like that. I'm going to, through being myself, try to inspire people. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not asking you guys to step up to some like crazy different level of a person to inspire everybody around you. No, like you guys are an inspiration without even knowing it, just by being you. And even if you don't feel that, you are. And even if you don't feel that for your team or for your upline or for your audience, like, it's true, sister. I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to believe me, but it's true. So, I mean, I love all of you guys. I see everybody's posts. I read everybody's posts. Even if I don't get around to like commenting on everything, because, we have a huge team of things to, hold on. Sorry, I got a phone call. So yeah, even if we're balancing a ton of things and you don't always hear from people, like, no, we're watching, like we're all watching and rooting you on and supporting and all that. So anything else, Kalila or Sharon or anybody else that you feel like you want to go over? I only have one hand, so I can't check the chat. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't have anything. Oh, go ahead, Sharon. I was going to say, I don't have anything amazing to say. But I appreciate that because of course I do think it's so important to be real and share your story. So maybe even little hard things that you are going through, to talk about those, even for the team, so that they realize that, of course, sometimes I think it is easy to look at top leaders and think like everything's just sunshine and rainbows and they're just taking pretty pictures and making tons of money. But sharing that it's not like that. It's ups and downs, and success isn't straightforward.
Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't have to be like, oh my goodness, I was in bed for a week crying my face off. Like, and if that's you, that's okay too. But I'm saying it can be just like, I spilled my coffee all over myself and I know it wasn't a big deal, but it really rubbed me the wrong way. And it really kind of did ruin my morning. So I just feel like being grumpy right now. Anybody with me, like something like that. Because people just need either to feel related to or validated or lightened up in some way. You guys have so much value inside of you that you don't even know. Monica said, sharing with our team, even our little struggles can help so much, especially if our life may look easy exactly. Yes. Because it's so true. I look at people all the time. I look at you guys all the time and I was like, oh, they're so cute. That smile must have meant their day was amazing the entire day. And I'm not saying it's not like I'm trying to find the depression in people, but it's just not true. Like, people live regular lives. I always kind of giggle to myself when somebody joins the business and they're like, my life isn't as interesting. And I'm like, girl, I made a post about a porch swing. Like, relax. I'm not traveling the world every week to a new like top city. I'm living in the trenches and spit up and, poopy diapers and just, like just a weird life that's not interesting, but it's interesting to other people because it's real life, so not trying to be somebody you're not. Um, and yeah, you're right, Kalila. Like people see top leaders and think, oh, everything's good with them. And not that I'm a top leader, but I shared with my rubies and above probably, I think it was like 5 weeks after he was born, that I was feeling some postpartum depression. And that kind of shocked me because I had that bad with my first one. But with my second and third, I didn't. And I kind of had eased into motherhood. And in my head, you think, okay, this is my fourth one. I'm a pro. Like, I got this down. And no, hormones hit you, girl. And then it's like, whoa, like, wait a second. Okay, I want to be in bed all the time. I want to sleep all the time. What is going on? So I shared that with my leaders. And it wasn't like a whiny, complainy sharing. It was more gratitude that they stepped up and kind of took over when I couldn't. And just kind of like, you know, made it known how much I needed help and appreciated help, and that I was a regular normal person. That's kind of always our goal. We want people to understand that we're regular normal people, even through our cute filtered pictures and posts and stuff like that. So just keep being you, everybody. And that's all I wanted to share. If anybody else has anything else, I'll give it a minute and let you unmute yourself and chat while I feed my little man. I wish he was like more awake so he could actually like turn and smile and wave, but he's not. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining today. You know that you can message me anytime, even though you have amazing leaders right above you. If they're busy or you just want a different perspective, my DM and PM are always open for you guys to chat. So thank you for being on. I appreciate you guys and have an amazing, awesome day.
Thank you, Jordan.